But what we're going to do now briefly is we're going to bring in another man who's dropped Amir Khan. Willie Limond is on the phone right now. Willie, are you there?
How you doing? I'm here, yep.
Willie, lovely to have you on the show. Just give us an idea. You gave Amir Khan a scare in 2007. What's the secret to putting Amir Khan down?
When I fought Khan, I think I just landed with a couple of solid shots. I just basically stuck to my game plan. But I don't know if there's a secret. I just hit him in the right place and he went down.
Now, Willie, looking back on that fight, mate, it was a great opportunity for you, and in the end, the one thing Khan did show was plenty of heart and plenty of guts. Do you think that's going to be the factor on Saturday night when he steps into the ring with Barrera? What's your take on that fight, Willie?
I think, as everybody's been saying, I think it's what Barrera has left in the tank. But I think at this stage of his career, I believe Barrera has fought better fighters than Khan.
Yeah,
so I don't think Barrera will be fazed by this. So I think this could be a risky fight for Amir Khan. He's capable of winning it, but I think Barrera could pull up in the night.
Yeah. Now, Willie, what happened? You promoted a show which you boxed on the other week. What happened? It's a bit of a disaster a couple of days before the fight. Just tell us what happened, Willie.
It was actually on the day of the weigh-in, Steve. The opponent failed his medical an hour before the weigh-in. That's when I got told. So we had to rush things about. I was meant to be fighting for the WBU title, but I eventually ended up fighting an 8-rounder. But the show went ahead. It was okay. It wasn't too bad, to be honest. But obviously, it was a gutter not fighting the 12-rounder. Now,
Willie, obviously, you've got a good quality pro on your own. There's no two ways about it. But you will be remembered always for those couple of rounds against Amir Khan when you seemed to break his heart, you seemed to force him to run out of ideas, and then you eventually dropped him. And I know the stoppage of you was legitimate in the end. But do you have any regrets? Do you look back on that and think, why didn't I just do X or Y or Z?
It's in hindsight, it's a brilliant fight. Obviously there's things that I wish I'd done wrong, but I mean, I'd done different. But it's just one of those things. You've got a split second to make your mind up. Sometimes you make the right, sometimes you make the wrong decisions. But done now. I suppose when I look back, it was a good experience. Obviously, the wrong decision.
Listen, Willie, thanks very much for taking a bit of time to speak to us this afternoon. Our pleasure, Willie Limond there, promoter and fighter who gave Khan absolute nightmares at the O2. Khan showed plenty of heart, plenty of guts. One thing, by the way, that nobody has ever questioned about Khan is his desire to win, the fact he gets up when he's hurt, and the fact he's got incredible guts.
Yeah, you can't question it. He's got that hunger.
Beyond question, that is.
Would you say then, after everything we've heard from people who've been in the ring with him, from what you've seen of him throughout his career, from what you've seen of Barrera, would you be backing Khan this weekend, or would you be nervous if you were Frank Warren?
I'd be nervous if I was Frank Warren. I'm going to go for Barrera.
Really?
Yeah.
Don King would be a happy man if that happened.
and I think Frank Warren's nervous. I mean, it's not. Boxing's not a straightforward science. It's a weird science. There's no. There's not black. There's not black and white. There's whole areas of grey, like in Don King's hair. There's all sorts of things that happen in boxing that you can't legislate for. It's that simple. You look at that guy Oisin Fagan who lost to Khan last year. You don't even know he'd been stopped once. Khan did a job on him. He broke his leg, clean break. Couldn't walk on it for about 6 weeks. Went running on crutches, so there's all sorts of mad things that happen,
and that's why we love it so much.
And that is exactly why
so fascinating.
Exactly why we love it so much. And I'll tell you, Frank Warren now, he's not sitting relaxing, thinking he's made the greatest match ever. He's sitting semi-relaxing and going, have I made the biggest rick? Of course he is. That's why he's a promoter. Same as Mick Hennessy, same as Barry Hearn, same as Frank Maloney, same as Frank Warren. Every night or 2 days before a big fight, Mickey Duffy in the old days, they'll be doing the same thing. They'll be sitting there going, have I got it right? Have I got it wrong?
So, we've heard from the people who know them, Bunce, but what are the facts?
Well, the facts. Now, let me just explain. These are the facts. So there is a place, and there is most definitely a time in boxing when the unknowns all come together to become facts. It's called, in my opinion, being in the right place at the right time. Now, Frank Bruno, Wembley, you think about it, right place against Oliver McCall. It was a troubled soul, Oliver. It was also the right time to beat him. Perhaps the only time, to be perfectly honest. And I don't want to get cosmic, but that night, everything was perfect in Frank Bruno's cosmic universe. The fact he couldn't walk after the fight is irrelevant. Okay, a few years later, finally, Lennox Lewis meets Mike Tyson. There have been years of accusations and claims and unpleasant exchanges. They both pointed the finger at each other. They grew older. Lewis improved with time and Tyson faded. He was good at the growling, But in the ring, the time was right. Classic timing in my mind. Absolutely classic timing. Okay, now you think about this guy, the darling of British boxing, Ricky Hatton against Costa Tszyu. It's too easy to forget how highly everybody rated Tszyu. It was bold to say the least, but it worked. Did it work? Ricky had too much. Ricky had nothing left, though, when Tszyu quit. Look at that. He's on the floor there. He's absolutely gone. Frank Warren made that happen at the MEN, and Frank Warren's made this fight happen at the MEN this Saturday. Okay, has Frank Warren got it right? Because it's a fact that there's always a time and there's always the place. However, what you can't measure is whether or not this is the right time and this is the right place. Because I'm telling you now, anyone who says for certain X or Y, they're brave men, probably gamblers.
Okay, let's put this one to bed. Billy says he's gone Barrera. You fancy Barrera?
Yeah, I'm still fancying Barrera, yeah. I'm still fancying Barrera, although I'm convinced, like Glyn Leach in the Boxing Monthly, the excellent Boxing Monthly, I'm convinced that cuts will, something you know about, Bill, I'm convinced that cuts will be a factor. Khan's a devastating, sharp puncher. He punches down. Barrera's down there. He's already got a cut here. There's another cut from here. There's been a cut here. There's been a cut here. Khan could open up one of those wounds. I could see cuts being a factor, but I'm still just inching to Barrera.
Okay, before we let you go, Billy, we started to talk a little earlier about your website, billyschwer.com, and this motivational speaking.
Yes.
Tell us a bit more about it.
Well, I work in the corporate world. I've created a thing called mental boxing. I created a one-day workshop called the Mental Boxing Workshop. I'm working with sales teams, people in the corporate world, do one-on-one coaching. I speak with in schools. I'm doing a lot of work in schools with kids.
This is you in action, in fact.
And it's getting kids just to realise and look at about what's possible, because I really believe anything's possible.
And what kind of response do you get when you're in there talking to kids, to people in the business world?
Fantastic, because they love it. Because I'm coming from a fighter's background, so the analogy, the metaphor of the ring is out in the business world, in life. Life sometimes feels like a bit of a fight, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, and that's the analogy, the metaphor.
Well, it's acknowledging that it's a struggle, isn't it? You've got to acknowledge. You can't. Is that? You've got to make people aware.
Exactly, and it's getting responsible, getting people aware that they're responsible for their future. So they're going to be responsible for creating whatever future they want, especially with kids. So I have an affinity with teenagers, for them just to look at and see, okay, this is my life, I'm responsible, what am I going to do with it? And take responsibility for that, and then go ahead and create and live their dreams, because dreams do come true.
Fantastic stuff. Well, best of luck with that.
Thank
Enjoy the weekend's boxing. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you.
We